Well, here we are on my first Tuesday float, I think. I'm going to start doing this twice a week and maybe scale it up from there since it's going to be unlimited and it's 5 minutes or less from my house. And I've been so busy today, I don't know if I have actually been in my seat of self, as it were, for more than 2 minutes. So this will be an interesting one. Okay, so before I get into the actual experience tonight, I have this theory that I came up with on the way home that if I don't get it out, I'm going to completely forget. And it's the notion that reflex is always the truth. And that is because it moves on energy pathways that we don't control, that aren't part of our normal conscious repertoire. And so they're uninhibited by the mind, the computer that interferes with your thoughts. And I think the truth to me is another metaphor for spirit energy, chi, shakti, whatever, pick a version. And something about getting things out of the way of that produces truth. And I don't know what made me think of that, but I think about what triggers are to me, and not in the silicon snowflake version of the word. I'm talking about when you have true PTSD and something taps into that. It's like a oil derrick just piercing something that has been waiting a long time to vent. And whatever that reaction is, it's the truth. It's the truth about the pain that needs to get out. But it's not the truth in that it's the way it should be or the way you want it to be. But it's the truth because it's what it is. It's the honest part of existence. And we run from acknowledging that we're in deep suffering, all of us. Doesn't mean everybody has, doesn't have variants of trauma, but everybody suffers to some degree. And I think it's just us getting in the way of the truth. Because I know this kind of bridges into the float experience. That's the best way I can describe what's happening when I'm in there is I just stop getting in the way. And there's just no noise, literally and figuratively. And when that happens, I can literally feel something pulsating through my body from my toes to my head, and vice versa. It's interesting because if I, observe it in one direction, I notice it in the other. It's almost like it's going in all directions at all times, but you can't, it's almost like it's too much to perceive, if that makes any sense. And this time I went in with no intention, except to have no intention. And I found myself going down a bunch of different paths, and there was a good amount of it that was opening doors of things that I've done or said or didn't do that have hurt people throughout my life, and letting more of that hurt out. The hurt that I stored at the time because I did something that wasn't truth. And it's almost like, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but the book's called The Body Keeps the Score. And I literally, until this second, don't think I really understood that more than metaphorically. That's very funny. Anyway, I had a lot of somatic experience tonight, a lot of like convulsing. Some of it was tied directly to an obvious memory that I had surfaced and I was examining. And then there were pretty solid periods where I would be very consciously sifting through something else and like very, very logic based, like no emotion. There's just nothing to even be emotional about. Or I would just be sitting quietly, doing nothing, just falling back, and I would get more somatic response. And that might just be like a foot or a leg or whatever, but man, I don't even know if I can remember which memory. I do remember. So one thing, I just tripped into it. I do not even remember how I got there, but I remembered we had a Kung Fu instructor, that's a thing, when we lived in Hingham. I guess maybe we lived in Weymouth. Yeah, because I lived in Hingham when I first met Meg. Anyway. And it was really expensive for us and our budget. And eventually we had to just stop going. One of the only sane financial decisions we probably made as a young couple. Mostly me, by the way. And something about that made me think of a meta block I've had for a while, a long while. I don't know where exactly it happened, but somewhere in my youth, I owed someone money, and they came into a restaurant that I was eating at. I'm almost positive that's what it is. And the shame of that was so great that it caught a lot of energy, a lot. And so a lot of things get like mistakenly sucked into that in different scenarios. And when it does, it's almost like it's like a snowball slowly rolling downhill, just feeding off of anything that comes in its wake. And when I was going through that, I was like bent in half almost. And it's just so crazy. Oh, I remember why I was thinking of the Kung Fu instructor, because he gave us a book called Somatics. And it occurred to me that I should really go back and see if I still have that. Of course, I probably threw it away last year, like an idiot. I say that, like, how did I know? You can't cling to everything you have, assuming that maybe someday you might possibly, eventually, maybe use it. I definitely started to tend towards hoarding until we found Marie Kondo, honestly. That show was absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I think that's all for now. It was a good one. I felt a lot of relief, and the thing that's really cool as I go from week to week, float to float, is it gets easier and easier to be non-reactive. There was a lot of situations in the last week and a half at work where I don't have a boss. Well, actually, I have a boss now. He's been in seat for a week. My boss's boss has been there for 2 months longer than me. And I'm in the middle of, I have 3 accounts. very large global accounts, and one of them I'm renegotiating 17 contracts at once. And I just, there's all kinds of stuff like that, and I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. Anyway, why did I start talking about that? I just don't remember. But then I'm gonna go back and watch this and be like, hey, stupid dummy, this is what it was. That's how I talk to myself. This is kind of fun. You get to see how I interact with myself when I'm just with myself. Anyway, so it gets easier to sit in the pocket, triggers at work, and yeah, it's just been a lot less doing things I immediately regret. In fact, I don't have any that stick out for me for days, actually. It doesn't mean that I'm not still getting like the rush and I have to step back from a situation. Like there was a day I literally just laid on the floor of my office for like 10 minutes face down, just breathing. Why not? Fuck it. What is the purpose of a norm that only hurts everyone? Like, why is it that to say that if I wasn't this age with this few fucks, why is it that even like addressing something like that would be like, dude, what is that guy, fucking psycho? He's gonna lay down. Just like, we shove down the communications from our body so frequently for reasons that are so preposterous, to even speak them out loud sounds like science fiction. And on that, until next time, I'm gonna go crush some bolognese or chop suey or something delicious that Meg made. All right, bye.